right, welcome everybody to the third Kickstarter roundtable of this silly little thing I like to call Explain Yourself. I am once again honored to have Will Allred here. Will is a three-time, he's got the hat trick for this. Also, we've got David Byrne coming in. David, I think you, sir, are muted. So let's get that mic. Everybody turn your microphones on if you can, because we like crosstalk. We want fights. We want food thrown.
I should have brought the popcorn.
Yes. So David Byrne is here. He's going to talk about his comic Jessamy, which comes out of the stake. And M. Sorciere, she's here with Sacramony. How are you, M?
I'm good. Glad to be here.
And we had just found out that Jonathan Hedrick through a Kickstarter today. Welcome, Jonathan.
Thank you.
So, like I said, let's do a little bit of an elevator pitch. I'm going to go around the screen. David, can you tell us what your Kickstarter is in 30 seconds?
Right, we have Stake Presents Jessamy. It's issues 1 and 2. It spins out of the Stake universe, which is my ongoing series through Scout. It's about an ancient vampire who in the 18th century finds out all the way over in London that there are people eating slaves in the colonial South. So she makes the trek, and it's her job to basically track them down and figure out what's going on.
All right, we're going to get into that real deep later. M, what are you kickstarting right now?
I'm kickstarting issue 2 of Sacramony, A Tale of Love, Life, and Death, in no particular order. And it's aptly named because the main character is a young lady named Kajad who died, but she got better. But the catch is she's got magical powers, and she's got demon wings, and she doesn't know what to do with that.
Oh, I cannot wait to get into more of that. Jonathan, what are we doing? What are we doing on Kickstarter? I didn't even have time to check it out.
That's all right. Yeah, I just launched Capable number 4 today, which is part of my superhero series that is set in a world where people with disabilities begin to gain superpowers opposite of what their handicap was. So this is the 4th installment, and the main character, Derek, who is in a wheelchair, who's now a speedster, is getting comfortable with his powers now, but so are other people. And not all those people are doing the right thing with those newfound powers. So we see things really take a twist in this issue.
Nice. And Will, you get to relax tonight. You're done with your Kickstarter. So how does that feel?
Yes. That feels pretty good. I've got emails out to Comic Impressions and some other places, and I think in the next few hours, it'll be 7 days since it ended. So Kickstarter will start canceling whatever people didn't make it through. So yeah, it's a good place to be. Get ready to get stuff printed and fulfilled. So that's awesome.
Oh my gosh, my screen just came up. I have an HP support assistant. I think I might just cancel that. All right, back to what we're doing.
At least it wasn't the paperclip.
Yes. With my technical know-how, it very well could be. I'm kickstarting for about 52 more minutes. Tart, she is a time-traveling demon hunter. She wakes up without any idea where she is in the world or when she is in time, but she knows that if she's there, there's a demon causing trouble, and it's up to her to stop it. So, you know what? I'm gonna pop over to comments and see if anybody is in yet. Not so far. If you happen to be watching on Facebook or YouTube, please say hello and please pop up with any questions you have, because we want to talk comics, but we want to talk comics that you want to hear about. All right, so let's go to M about Sacramony first, because in the scientific way that I've done this, I forgot to put your banner up when you were talking. So you get to go first.
Hooray. Oh man, what do I talk about, I guess? It's a fantasy story. It's a fantasy drama, but when you take away all of the fancy bells and whistles and world building, it's more of like the story of a very dysfunctional family. So It's basically, yeah, the main character, she has demon wings, she has magical powers, and her mom is just like, all right, you have to hide all of this. But, you know, she won't explain, like, how or why it happened. So, I mean, her mom is just trying to do, like, you know, the image that's like a meme now of, like, the dog sitting around in fire going, like, this is fine?
Yes.
Yeah, that's basically her mom. Just, like, trying to live a normal life, trying to just stay out of trouble. And yeah, so dysfunctional family.
And you do all of the art and you do everything on this.
Yeah, I do
correct?
everything, like the art, the writing, the lettering, the coloring, the marketing. It's just all me by my onesie.
Wow.
Going to be
I,
printing it. You have your own printing press too, don't you? You know, you're just going to be there
You know,
one at a time,
don't
knocking
tempt
them
me.
out.
Do not tempt me. I'd have to clone myself for that because, oh my god, it's so laborious, but I love it.
Is
So,
this your first comic that you've done, or have you the royal we for you?
There we go. Well, I started out doing webcomics, and like in 2013, I started out with a comic called The Misadventures of Buddy and Friend, which was more of like a fantasy comedy, just like silly hijinks. They had to like stop a demon invasion. And I actually did that because there was sort of like a dark time in my life where like I didn't know what I was doing, didn't know where I was going. And I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to start a comic and I'm going to see what happens. And I was able to run with it for about like 6 years, but then like Sacrimony took over my life. Like I was trying to juggle Buddy and Friend and Sacrimony at the same time, and it was not really working. Like, you know, sleep is nice. I like sleep. So with Sacrimony, actually, this is the second time that I'm doing it because I started it over. Like I started it as a webcomic in 2016, but like my skills really weren't up to par. I still had like no idea what I was doing. I was trying to like mess with tools that I really didn't know how to use at the time. So I ended up like I had a really bad run with Sacrimony because like the art and writing were just really, it was all over the place, and I tried to kickstart it and it didn't do too well. And in 2019 I was like, oh man, this is like terrible, maybe I should give up. And then I was like, you know what, no, I'm gonna do it over. I'm gonna redo the art, I'm gonna like streamline the writing. And I mean, I'm here now, so that's pretty cool.
That's really cool. How do you do this? How do you take that
sheer
moment where
willpower?
you think, yeah,
Spite, lots of spite. I'm fueled by spite.
That's they're you know what, you know, like proving even imaginary people wrong is not the worst creative energizer. We got Danny Morales came in and said hi. I kind of pop up.
Sure.
So, hey, Danny, he runs the collective in Altamont Springs, which is just out of Orlando, and is a great dude. So
Cool.
Yep, we love the collective.
So let's, like, I know you said I was spite as a joke, but really, how did you go back into yourself and say, all right, no, there is something here. I just have to start over. How do you do that? What's that conversation like with yourself?
The conversation happened actually when I got pretty far into the webcomic. I'd say I'm like, I can actually check this, how many pages I've done for the webcomic version so far. 309 pages. So, I mean, yeah, this has been ongoing since 2016, and I used to update like twice a week. So it's been a lot. But I think somewhere in there, I was like looking at the art that I was doing in like 2019 versus what I was doing in 2016. And I was just like, you know, this isn't really reflective of what I can do now. And it leaves like a really bad first impression, because if someone sees like my really janky old art, I actually have a book here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just like, it's really rough. Like very, very rough art. So, you know, I didn't want that to be the first impression that people got, where they're just like, oh my God, this person draws like, you know, a 15-year-old or something. Which I was definitely not. I was twice that age when I started. But anyway.
That's okay. I can't do math, so I still don't know how.
It's, you know, as creatives, we're not legally obligated to do math. It's fine.
You were also still way better than anyone else in this call right now. I had drawn back then.
Thanks. Yeah, so I didn't want that to be the first impression anymore, because it was just like, it was a bad look. So towards the end of 2019, I just I got over myself and I was like, you know what? I have to make this like into something better than it is.
Okay.
So
That's amazing.
and also this. Oh, sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, like I had this story in my head since like my very early teenage years, which is over 20 years ago. And it was something that just kind of like grew and changed and evolved along with me. So it was something that I held on to for like so long, and I was like, I have to do something with this, and like I have to find a way to make it work because this is absolutely what I want to do. Like, I don't want to work retail, I don't want to do any more internships, I don't want to be like, you know, someone's crappy assistant and like, you know, just take shit from everyone. I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to say that, but you know how it is.
Did you fucking curse on the show?
Oh, how dare I? I'm such an asshole, aren't I?
I figure if we start at 11 o'clock, whatever happens, happens. So don't worry about it.
Fair. It's like Fight Club.
Yes. So let's go around the horn, and we're gonna have time to come back around to it. David, why don't you talk to us about Jessamy for a second? I want to make sure everybody gets a chance. We've done this twice. This is the third time. We've gone 2 hours each time. I want everybody to know though, like, if you're tired, you're not stuck here talking about steak. You can lay you can stake your claim and leave if you need to. So I want to get everybody's
fun. I'll see you later.
Yeah. All right,
Fun
Jonathan.
fact, it's actually past my bedtime.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for staying up with us.
I'm such an
appreciate
old
it.
lady. I go to sleep at 11, but no, I'll tank through this for you guys.
We had somebody who was going to join us, and it was just too late, unfortunately. So I had to sadly tell them that maybe our paths will cross another time. So, David, you start talking about steak, and I will try to get it up so people can see the amazing covers that I know we want to talk about.
All right, and we have to say hi to the king of Kickstarter, who's in the comments there, Charlie Stickney.
Oh, Charlie! Oh, I just missed that. Hey, buddy, how are you, bud?
So this is the second Steak Presents Jessamy campaign, and basically what they are is a spin-off story about the vampire from my main comic series, Steak. And as I said a little bit before, it's set in the 18th century instead of modern day like the normal story. And it follows her journey across the Atlantic to track down a mystery about monsters eating people in colonial South. So
that is a very cool image, by the way.
Yeah, Francesca's art is insane.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, you got some awesome covers. I mean, you've got some seriously awesome covers going on here.
But what I have is a problem. It's an addiction.
I think you got it figured out. I don't think you have a problem. You got it figured out.
Yeah, it's just it gets confusing for people, and it's very hard to fulfill when you have, each version of each cover has 4 versions, as you can see right here: trade dress, virgin, then we do foil and metal, and it's usually double-digit covers. So sorting through 300 physical orders plus last time. It took me months just because it was so complicated. And then I think most of us know Joel Rodriguez. He's the letterer. The poor guy, I offered his autographs. And he lives in Orlando and I live in Daytona. So he came over one day and I didn't realize how complicated it was. He had over 600 books to sign. And it wasn't like all the same cover. It was like 12 of this one and 8 of this one. So it ended up taking us like 8 hours for him to sign all those books.
It's a good problem to have, though. Gotta say.
Yeah, no, it's good, but I felt bad for him. He just had a baby too at the time, so he's like, Chrissy's gonna kill me if I don't get home soon. I was like, we've only got 100 more books.
Oh my god.
So, Francesca's the artist on Jessamy. Does she doesn't do Steak. She just does the Jessamy books.
No, she does both of them. She does all of it.
Both. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's why we went 10 months between campaigns, because between the last campaign and now, she actually drew all 6 issues of Steak.
Wow.
For the direct market. Amazing. Yep. So she's not finished with this issue yet, but knowing her track record, we will probably be within a couple of pages of being done by the time this campaign ends. So I have total faith in her, and we've got a pretty good track record of delivering. So I think we got it.
That's incredible when you have an artist that cares about it. Is she the co-creator on it? How does, I mean, not to get too into the weeds, but how does that work out?
It's my series, but I let her. I will call her the co-creator because she's taken ownership. She loves the project. She tells me that as long as I have scripts, she will be drawing it. So
that's amazing.
Hopefully it'll be going for a very long time. So what else on Stake? We've got well, you showed some of the covers. The interesting thing that I've managed to do, not on purpose, the last couple campaigns is I hired some artists who are relatively large names like Derek Chu and Alan Kwa, and because of their schedules, we'll actually be dropping art in the middle of the campaign. Which the first time I did that, the artist was freaking out. It was Anna Jo, and she was like, "I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm so sorry I'm late." I'm like, you know what? We have a dead zone right in the middle of campaigns where you providing me art 9 to 10 days in means I have something that I can talk about randomly. So these guys will both be probably the second week of the campaign. So it gives me something brand new to basically kick off for everybody.
Yeah, that worked well for us on Crossover Division 2. Alice, we actually just showed the entire process. Here's the layout, here's the pencils, here's the ink. So you're right, it was just something great to give updates for. Absolutely.
Yep. Instead of just, every update being, "Hey guys, we hit this number. Okay, I'll be back when we hit the next number."
Those are the most painful updates to write. I gotta say, like when you have nothing else to talk about and you're just like scrounging, it hurts the brain.
I'm still here. We're still alive. Don't go away.
Yeah.
I didn't
Please don't forget me.
All right. Speaking of not forgetting, Jonathan, let's get into Capable.
All right. Yeah. Thanks. Capable. This is the 4th issue. The previous issues are available as add-ons. My goal for this campaign was to try to keep it minimalistic as possible. With,
just like David did.
Just like David, I went with Derek Chu to cover everything, and Art Germ's going to drop another cover in 2 weeks. So, but
man, I've been chasing him for years.
Yeah, I know a guy. So, but just kidding. 4th issue of the series, and with it being the 4th issue. And it also got picked up by a publisher recently. I wanted to just kind of keep it minimal. And was my real target was the previous backers. So that's why today I did a day one only sale where backers could get only today for $5 this particular issue, plus shipping, of course. But just really wanted to help out with the support that I've received so far from this series, because I really don't plan on kickstarting the rest of the issues going after this, and just keep it in the publishing house that picked it up. So,
which I can assume we can't speak about just yet who that is, because you're a little cagey, or can we share who it is?
Second Sight Publishing picked it up.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
And have no fear backing Jonathan. He fulfills like lightning fast.
Yeah, that's my goal with every Kickstarter. I don't want my comics to show up on someone's door and be like, "Oh, I forgot I backed that," or or I wish I didn't back that.
Well,
I've
Danny
definitely
has
had
something
the
nice to say.
I've definitely had the "I forgot to back that" moment. I forgot I backed it.
Yeah. That's a nice compliment from Danny. Thank you, sir.
Aw.
But yeah, I mean, my previous Capable Kickstarter had draw in, get yourself drawn in, slabbed comics, this and that. Just really focusing on 3 covers. There's a bunch of add-ons. People can get the previous issues, the digital copies as well. Some rare copies I still have floating around, but just kind of want to get in, get out, do the thing, fund the book, and get it in people's hands.
And if I could be wrong, but I felt like the catch-up was what, $20 total for all four?
Yep, $20 plus
I mean,
shipping for physical copies.
Came out to, I think, $27 for
Yeah.
4 issues, which on Kickstarter is an extraordinary value. So I was really happy to catch up.
Yeah. Thanks for pointing that out. I'm just still learning the ropes with the Kickstarters. This is my 7th one. Hopefully, it's my 6th successful Kickstarter. But each one is a learning process, and that's why I try to back as many Kickstarters as possible, because you learn a lot from what other people do. And some things will work for certain books than others. Like my previous campaign was for an issue 1. So I had 10 covers and, a lot more different rewards, things like that. You just can't do that for every book. And it also doesn't fit for every type of genre as well.
Yeah, I think that one thing that I'm looking at is, David's used it to great success in the first Jessamy campaign, and I think that I saw that you had an okay first week. So I'd say you've done pretty well in this second one. So what went into your thoughts of doing all of the covers for Stake for Jessamy? Yeah, I'll probably make that mistake all night, just so you know.
I came from a world of collectors, and I have a lot of friends who are collectors, but also the story obviously is the most important part. And I focus on that first before I go hunting down all the art that I want to do. But I really want to cater to both worlds. And part of it's for me. I have my vault of my covers that I keep at home. I've got one of everything I've ever done at least. And I just like getting art. I like talking to artists. The first campaign that I ended up with 10 covers was actually on accident. I was only going to do 5, but I asked these artists and I didn't think every single one of them would say yes. so at that point I was like, all right, well, I guess we're going with 10 covers.
Aren't art emails the best emails ever?
I find emails don't work very well for me. I usually just hit them on Instagram, Facebook Messenger, wherever they appear to be the most active. Yeah. And if you have a decent project, you're not a dick, and you ask nicely, if they have room in their schedule, most artists will work with you.
I've had some good artists work with me, and I am a dick. So it's perfect.
Not all the time.
I am not always a dick. That is true. Joey, how are you? I'm going to take one moment. I don't know if Charlie's still watching, but just so you guys know, tonight we are sponsored by Sif's Diner, home of the Sif Stack. So if you are ever in White Ash, Pennsylvania, make sure you stop at Sif's for a little bit of coffee and or mead.
Nice.
I'm sure he'll say something if he's still here.
Charlie's really smart. He probably came in, popped in at hello, and now he's going to go have a glass of wine. He'll come back in 30 minutes, but that's okay. All right, so let's talk about your artist on Capable, because we haven't gotten into the team. Who are you working with on that, Jonathan?
Yeah, the main cover and interior artist, his name is Gino Casmianto. I've worked with him throughout the entire series so far, and he's based out of Indonesia. Such a great guy, and since we've been working together for about 2 years now, just really bonded with him a lot. And I think a lot of people in this room probably know what it's like when you've worked with someone a long time, and even though they're on the other side of the country, you kind of they become family in a way. So really love working with him. I can't turn scripts over fast enough for him. He's just like, what's the next one? When's the next one? And you have a artist that's really engaged into it when you spoil something for them and they get mad. Like I told him, like, do this because this happens later. And he's like, I didn't want to know that. I'm like, I didn't think you cared. I thought this was just a paycheck. But
that's extraordinary. Yeah. That's when you know you're cooking with grease right there.
Right. Yeah. Then variant cover artist that I've worked with a lot too, who's local to me here in Melbourne. His name's Dominic Prosy. He's probably done over 10 covers for me on all my different creator-owned stuff. And that's going to be my first foil cover. I haven't done a foil cover yet.
Okay.
So, and that one's not the exclusive cover. That's a $15 foil cover. I'm really trying to cut costs and make it as affordable as possible. Then for the actual Kickstarter exclusive cover, the one that will not be printed again, it's already going to be low print. That's from Jason Murr, who is the artist by the Horns, another label mate. So that was really cool.
You can say the company name. We have at least one. We have at least one publisher watching this. I know. So yeah, By the Horns is really cool. I just read 1 through 3, and I'm ecstatic to see that it got picked up as a series. I got one question because we're talking covers. Danny put this in. So let's. Do we see Kickstarter covers ever gaining spec value? Because we all sell Kickstarter covers, absolutely. We are going to speak this into existence. I'm doing the secret on it, but what do you guys think?
Absolutely. If you've seen that Adam Hughes cover for Pop Kill, Jimmy Palmiotti's book, I think that one came out 600 or something right out the gate as soon as it got fulfilled. I really regret not backing that cover just for the spec alone on it. But I think a lot of the mainstream audience in comic books is starting to learn how Kickstarter and crowdfunding works. And as more people get comfortable with the fact that they're not going to get a reward till later, then this is going to just keep on growing with the spec and invest market.
Yeah, well, I had the Peach Momoko cover from the first state campaign, and I can tell you people were definitely speccing on that because when someone orders 10 of a cover from your Kickstarter, it's not because they wanted 10 copies. That one, and we definitely, I keep an eye on that stuff because people message me. I know her cover was going for several $100s right after the campaign ended on eBay, but I think what's hopefully more important in what we see in the future is these books that get published in the mainstream or go to TV or movie shows. These are the first appearances. These are the original copies. So, even if it was a Scout book, that Kickstarter #1 may be worth way more if it becomes a TV show or a movie.
Mm-hmm. Do you do any variant covers in? You can do as many as you want to, which is nice.
I never messed with them yet. I'm actually planning on doing it for the issue 3 campaign and seeing what happens, because it's like I'm doing so many other things, like I did a print and pins and all that stuff, and I was like, I'm tired this time, I'll do it next time. So I'm still new to the whole variant cover thing. So I mean, I guess I'll be able to answer that next year.
I want you to know that I'm afraid of it. I don't like kind of what David was saying with the intricacies of delivering it. I've gotten to the point now where I ask Ludo to do a cover and we just do a version variant as our variant. We put it on either a foil or metal, depending on what the printer thinks is the coolest. Because I just don't have the organizational skill to. I think I would be afraid that I'd ask 10 artists and get 10 covers, but that would never happen.
I did try sketch covers this time around, like blank sketch covers and whatnot. And a few artist friends actually picked up some blank sketch covers. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. I look forward to seeing what they do.
Do you have any where you would draw on it?
I do. I added that on during my dead zone because I had shit else to talk about. So I was just like, I'm new add-on. I'll draw some sketch covers. So I do have that available now. And you
should be doing videos of yourself drawing them and posting them.
Oh man, my lighting is terrible though, so it's it's really hard to get a good image of me drawing. Unfortunately, as you can see, it's super dark.
That's great Dead Zone stuff, though. I mean, it's hey, look, I'm drawing stuff. That's not anything I can do. So I'm,
yeah, I'm gonna pre-draw a bunch of them this time around, and then I'll offer them as rewards for the issue 3 one and see what happens. See if anybody has any particular preference or whatever.
For my next campaign, I'm going to do a stretch goal that if we make $10,000, I won't draw a cover, and that'll guarantee we get there.
I don't know. I'm curious as to what you could do. I don't know. So.
Well, I mean, come on, Kevin. You do the the little layout things for every time you do an issue. You already arted up, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing the thumbnails, I mean, that's just the gateway to drawing.
Yeah, gateway to drawing. Like, I don't know, like 7-Up is to drugs. I don't know. I'm not there, man. I'm not getting there. I did 1 year though, where I did at least 5 days a week. I drew for an hour. I drew a half hour with one hand and a half hour with the other to see how good I got. And I actually got better with my left hand than I got with my right hand. That's how awful my right hand is. I couldn't learn how to draw with my right hand, but my left hand I got still bad, but better than my right hand.
It's practice. I've been practicing for literally like 30 something years, so it's.
Were you the kid
practice.
that just drew all the time?
Oh yeah, I was the weird kid that like completely flew under the radar in like every other aspect, and I just like sat there drawing and like making up stories by myself. So like, it's what I did. It's a finely honed talent.
Paid off.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. I'll go into where people can find us all. I think I wrote them all down. I'm not that great at all of
I told
this.
my friends to come and heckle me, and they haven't heckled me yet, and I'm pretty disappointed in them. They better not have all gone to sleep, because I know they stay up until like 3 a.m.
I mean, if you're going to stay up, they should stay up, goddammit.
Right? Like, that's the only decent thing to do.
You know what? I didn't know your Twitters, so I don't have one set up for you. I apologize. So, all right. So we'll do Jonathan. So if you want to find Jonathan, that looks like a boat capsized.
Yes.
How did you come up with that, Jonathan? What was in your head when you decided I was going to be doing it?
I think someone had already had it with the vowels, so I was like, I'll just remove the vowels. Whatever.
I mean, according to Wheel of Fortune, vowels are expensive, so you did a good move there. It's very economical.
Right. But if you start typing it with the vowels, it pops up anyway. So I must be more popular than the other Jonathan Hedrick that's out there. But
See, that's the feud. That's the feud.
Yeah. Right.
There
Right.
can be only one.
There's the Highlander thing going on there.
All right, so everybody's talked. All right, at least a little bit. Oh, okay, so here's a question. No spoilers, and let's do that, but who has seen Suicide Squad? I have.
I have not. I live under a rock when it comes to movies. It's so terrible.
The reason I got into this, I try to get in here like 10:50 to set things up. I think I turned it on at 10:57 today because we finished it at 10:51. So I liked it. I thought it was pretty good Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah, way better than the original Suicide Squad.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna take it over. Who wants the Ayers cut?
From the first one. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
I do, because I didn't want the Snyder cut because he had his chance and he couldn't deliver, in my opinion. And but Ayers had his movie literally taken away from him because Snyder couldn't deliver. So I kind of want to see like what he had in mind, because I don't think he had in mind a movie that was 27 music videos stitched together. So I'm Team Ayers cut. Personally, even though I'm more of an MCU guy. So
well, visually it was fine. It was the way it was cut together that was the issue.
I think so too. But I thought Suicide Squad was definitely, if you don't mind some gross violence, if you like Deadpool, I think you'll love Suicide Squad. It's like Deadpool and Guardians of the Galaxy smushed into a cool movie.
Nice. Yeah. Hoping to see it sometime this weekend.
Cool. Going to a theaters, or you staying home like me? Because I'm not going out. I'm not going out to the theater, man.
I'll probably go to the theaters, buy a ticket for that one, and then stay to watch Black Widow finally.
Oh, okay. I did
Don't tell
enjoy
AMC
that.
I'm doing that though.
They're so good on their stock right now. They don't need to sell
Yeah,
tickets.
right.
No, Charlie. We got to get you on to heckle David. We got to get you on camera.
And with that voice, even when he's heckling you, you still feel good about it.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, Charlie can make you feel good about yourself. That's a great thing about Charlie. You're like, yeah, I gotta talk to you. Your sales are, better than we expected. And you're like, oh,
You
okay.
actually caught his cadence perfectly.
Yeah, I've had a couple hour-long conversations with Charlie. We're like, all right, so what are we gonna do to try to get this out? And he's always got like 9 plans, and I'm like, all right. And I'm like, what? And he's like, never tell David what we're doing. And I'm like, I never will. And he's like, never tell him I said that. And I'm like, I never will. It's great.
That sounds about right, actually.
So since this is a little bit of Scout, so I want to hear a little bit about what is in the future for the recount.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. So I have this right here on my desk that I've been working hard at whenever I get a minute or two. So, yeah. I sent the first issue of the next thing that is Recount to my editor, Andrea Molinari, and I think we wrapped up a couple of drafts already, and an artist has the script as well. So hopefully we'll get some pages back, and I don't know, early next year, something could happen.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So Sacrimony. So I'm gonna pop around because I want to make sure everybody gets their time. Is how many issues do you have planned for this? I know you have like 600. How many pages? You said
like
in the
309
hundreds.
pages. Yeah, roughly about, that's probably like a good 14 issues worth of stuff thus far. And it's cool because when I get into like the later stuff, I don't have to redraw or rewrite any of it. So awesome. But I mean, it's going to be just a very long ongoing series until either my hand falls off or my brain explodes or, one of those things happens. Or
you
time
finish?
itself ends.
Let's have one positive outcome. You finish?
Well, or I finish,
Okay.
or I finish. But yeah, in terms of like estimating how many issues it would be, that's like impossible. Like I have a basic idea of like where I want things to go, but it's like, a very long and winding path how it actually gets there. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's another 20 or 30 years of work, but I look forward to it.
As a person insane enough to basically kickstart my 13th issue, do you think you're going to try to stick with Kickstarter as the method of getting the book out, or are there other plans?
I don't really have any other plans. I'm just like, you know what? Kickstarter is great. Like, I can kind of control everything, like, in the sense of like, it's still like my comic or whatever. I don't have to deal with like whatever else goes on with traditional publishing. If they're like, oh, here's an editor, and I'm just like, oh no, I don't even do comic scripts. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? Yeah, I'm such a weird anomaly in that sense that like I have to work by myself because like I don't really do a script. I just kind of have like my comic page there, and I throw in like, I just let the characters kind of have a conversation on the comic page, see how much room it takes up, and then like figure out what to go for from there. So I think like Kickstarter is the best way to do it for me because like I can still have my weird process and it works.
Right.
And like it's a much more personal experience than like, like having someone just pick up something off a shelf and be like, oh, hey, whatever. Like you kind of get to know the readers, they get to know you. And, I would love to have stuff in stores, but I can't even fathom that right now. Like, how do I do that?
So yes, we've been. I think one of your friends is now here to bust your.
Oh, hey, Mariah.
So
I will definitely get to the point where the goat escapes the basement.
All right. That is an Explain Yourself exclusive.
Yes.
Have we seen the goat
spoilers. Yet? We have not seen the goat yet. The goat is like way down the road in like issue 14. So Just
That's
know
like a
that there's
way
a
early
goat in a
spoiler.
basement.
This week I was gonna ask her to email me a PDF so I could read it, and I was going through my pile, and there was Sacramony #1, and I was like, oh, good, I backed this because you talked
Don't
about
you
your
love it when that happens?
yeah you talked about your addiction. My addiction is Kickstarter, so I was like, I must have heard about it. It looked cool. It looked different. I'm like, all right, cool. So I was like able to read it, and it was very intriguing. I definitely think that your two lead characters are in a very strange situation, and
Thank
I'm
you.
intrigued to see what the hell happens. Now
Yeah,
I'm waiting for the goat.
excellent. Well, I mean, it's going to take however many years, but you will get to the goat eventually.
Okay.
But yeah, I like that it's not just like a, oh, there's a prophecy, we have to save the world sort of thing. I'm really into more of just like telling a human story of like, all right, there's this family, they're like, they've got a lot of issues and they're just trying to get through life as best as possible. And then there's
Issues.
like,
They have issues.
they have issues.
Can we tell? Is it a spoiler to tell something about the father?
Uh, oh man, what can I tell about him thus far? I mean,
He's a
behind the
dick.
scenes,
He's
he
a
is.
dick.
Oh,
I
he's
mean,
a
we can
total
say
dick.
that, right? Okay. All right.
Yes, but I mean,
Okay.
there's a reason why he's a dick, and then when you finally find it out, you're like, okay, you're still a dick, but you know what? I understand why.
Okay. All right. Fair.
So it's definitely it's gonna start being unraveled in issue 3 because that starts to revolve more around him. Because first I wanted to like issue 1 kind of set up the characters just a little, then go into like setting up the world a little, and then like going into more depth in issue 3. So issue 2 is just you get to see like fancy cities and stuff, and
Oh, cool.
yeah. So
All
the father
right.
doesn't actually show up in issue 2. No, he doesn't. He's issue 3.
All
Oh,
right.
and then you get to see all of my like weird gods and stuff. Like, let me move my head.
Ah.
You see this mask back there? Like that's one of them. A friend of mine made that for me, like randomly, and I was like, that's the coolest thing anyone's ever made. Yeah, the weird like Egyptian looking guy. Like that's one of the gods that's gonna appear in issue 3.
Nice. Jonathan, how long is Capable planned? Is this just ongoing as long as it can go, or?
No, I have outline for 7 issues, so I'd like to
Okay.
wrap it up in 7. Yeah, a nice trade paperback size series. So,
But it sounded like you're looking to just move to direct market for 5, 6, 7, or is
Yep.
it fluid?
5, 6, and 7. Yeah. Well, it's good. They're going to start reprinting 1, 2, 3, and 4 as well. They'll get extra variant covers and probably some new trade dress. But yeah, from 5, 6, and 7, I probably won't crowdfund those.
Okay.
I would say probably, but I don't. Yeah, commitment in me.
You can't even commit to whether you're going to watch Black Widow or Suicide
Right.
Squad.
I'm gonna watch them both, but with 1 ticket.
Okay. All right.
¿Por qué no los dos?
It's called the writer's budget.
There you go. There you go. It's better. You get that ticket's going straight to your variant cover artist for.
Right. Yeah.
How about Jessamy? I know that's the first kind of season of Stake is, you said 6 issues, right?
Yep. Yeah, the final issue of that will be out probably the end of this month,
Okay.
depending
And
on how our
Jessamy
printer does with it.
They do a very, very good job in a very, very strange year. And I say this because they not only print my scout books, but they print my Kickstarter. So I love them.
I love them too. I love all of them.
Yeah. But how much is Jessamy going to be? Can Jessamy go forever, or is it just a little bit of a backstory to help you tell Stake?
Well, this particular story will be 3 issues. Because she's so old, it can basically go forever. What I'll do is the plan is to pretty much between arcs do some sort of spinoff through Kickstarter, and I'll try to keep Stake just to the direct market.
Right.
Basically, because the economics of comics is that Kickstarters help fund the rest of it.
Yeah.
So I know I want to do more of Jessamy, but there are other characters in the main series that are also old that I can tell origin stories for. So I'll try to, I know Francesca wants to draw everything, but I also want to give her like some mental and physical breaks. So
Right.
the idea was initially to do the spinoffs with a different artist than from the main series, but the original Kickstarter we did had a completely different artist for number one.
Right.
And I hired Francesca to be that artist in between to do the spinoffs.
Mhm.
So when I ended up having to part ways with the original artist, she said, well, I'll do the whole series for you. So then I've ended up with her on the main series and the spinoff. So it defeats the whole purpose of me trying to give the main artist a break. So we'll keep her going. She's going to draw issue 2 and then probably jump right into issue 3, and we'll kickstart that in January. And then because the way the schedules work at Scout, we do have another vampire book coming out in December, and I don't want to cannibalize or be overlapping with that book. So I'll wait till mid next year to bring out season 2, and that'll give Francesca plenty of time to actually draw the issues. This time I broke my own rule as a publisher of having issues done before soliciting, and we pushed it all the way up to the end, and the art was not late until the last issue, but that was because I basically told her, do good art, don't worry about the deadline. That if we're a little bit late, 6 months from here, a year from now, or 6 months from now, a year later, no one's going to remember that you were 3 weeks late on book.
Right.
If the art's no good, they're gonna see that forever.
There's going to be that one person that holds on to it like, oh, I remember they were late by 2 months.
But I'm recording this. That's the rule for Steak, Tart, and the recount, correct?
No, we're going forward. Everything's got to be done, guys.
I feel like you said that was the rule for Steak, Tart, and
Yes.
recount.
If Charlie wasn't here, then
Maybe.
he's private messaging me to shut up. No.
He does have an idea though. He knows how to keep artists working.
Yeah, she told me she was up really late on the last couple pages, so she actually ended up giving herself arbitrary dates that I was like, just don't kill yourself to do this. We'll get it out when it's ready.
Well, I had a someday I'm going to do this book, but I had a Western and an artist who I will not name because I don't want that artist to get publicity. Agreed to do it and sent me 5 of the most beautiful pages. Oh, everything was lush and background, and it's just gorgeous. And as soon as that artist got the job, there were no more backgrounds at all. And I basically, said like, hey, I'm really not worrying about deadlines here. I'm worrying about something that's going to live forever. And they sent me the next 5 pages and there were no backgrounds. And I went, you know what? I think we're just going to, I lost these 15 pages worth of money and I think you can just go on your way. So
did you ask, were you supposed to draw the backgrounds on yourself? Was like
that was
do it yourself? That
happened 2 months before my year where I drew an hour every day because I was going to try. It's okay. That was not meant to be. And we'll leave it at that. But it's amazing how some artists just, Ludo on Tart, and you said Francesca, and Em, you don't have this problem because your artist is you. So you're passionate already, but finding an artist who actually takes ownership and loves the book is like, it makes making comics easy.
Yeah.
And fun. So much fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I told this 2 weeks ago, but I'll send a note to Ludo at like 12 o'clock when I go to bed and I wake up at 7 in the morning and he sent me a drawing and it's like elves working, while I sleep. It's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Francesca does the thing where she goes, are you ready? and then she makes me sit there and wait before she'll upload it to the Dropbox. So
you just see the 3 dots in the messaging.
Charlie has weighed in, so the recount in the state can definitely be late, but apparently not everybody can.
dot dot dot.
Yeah, you never
Dot,
finished his
dot.
thought. What is the dot dot dot, Charlie?
Hey, you know what? I love the rule, and there's nothing better than the rule of finishing the entire season and then putting it out. Because I was actually talking with Danny a couple weeks ago when I was at his shop, and he was like, "Yeah, it doesn't bother me as a comic shop if between arcs you take a break.
Mhm.
It bothers me if it's a 5-issue arc and issue 3 to 4 there's 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
But if you finish number 5 and you need 6 months, he's like, I can help you get the momentum back at that point, but I can't do it if you're breaking in the middle. So I like having that rule because it makes it better for us, and it makes it easier to juggle personally as a writer. Is like, yeah, I know I've got to get this chunk, and then I come to you and Charlie and say, oh, I've got this chunk. Let's figure out where it fits.
4 minutes to go, Kevin.
Oh, 4 minutes. I'm gonna go over there. This is where I get very selfish, and I get to
Go for it. You deserve it. Mhm.
to take advantage of everybody who came here.
It is your show. I mean, you are
Yeah.
allowed to do that.
You know what, guys? I'm feeling a little sleepy.
Yeah.
My internet's cutting out, and
Oh,
Ooh,
snaps.
Love that move. Wow.
Nice.
So 461 backers, the most we've ever had in my
Fantastic.
entire history is 511. And we've only broken 12,000 once, and we've only broken 11,000. This is the second time. So
Nice.
really, I'm ecstatic.
Congrats.
Mhm.
Thank you very much.
So do you want to take this 3 minutes to fill out those surveys that you are neglecting?
No, it's look, it's just my email.
Oh, okay.
It won't.
Oh yeah, you might want to update that now. Then I guess.
I've done it 6 times, and I just basically. I wish I had a drawing of a middle finger down. This is what I say to Kickstarter about my email. You know, just suck it.
It sent me that one time, and I actually switched email addresses and then switched it back, and it stopped asking for it.
I'm gonna have to switch it back because that's my second email that I tried, and when that didn't work. My favorite thing about this one, and David, you're gonna have to deal with this, when we put it out, is this book we tell from 2 perspectives. The left side of every page is Tart telling the story, and the right side of every page is somebody else telling what happened, and we bounce back and forth between the perspective. And we did it even though we didn't know if it would work, and we still don't. So hey, David, Charlie, I hope it works.
It works, man.
It is digital, so I can just move the pages around if I want.
Well, I thought about maybe doing one, a very, very, very special one where it goes, the first 12 pages are Tart's pages, and then coming from the back, kind of like a manga, telling the other ones and seeing if we could redo it and just do a special like 100
or flipping
issue.
it like that. You know?
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, we're at 2 minutes to go. We're. I mean, I couldn't be happier. It's just we got, I think, something like 300 to 400 of the people are back who've backed us before, which is extraordinary to have that many people come back to a 13th issue of a series. And a couple hundred new people who hopefully will love it. And if they don't want to pay shipping, they can get their issues from their local comic shop and Scout. And if they do want to do shipping, they can do both, or the double dip. That's the greatest. You got to get the double dip. So I mean, I'm tired. I'm so very tired, but I'm really happy.
Hey, we need to see the confetti as it finishes there, Kevin.
I will try to get there. There's 24 seconds left. All right. I think I did it. 12.
Here we go.
10,
So this is how it happens.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
4, 3,
Three,
2,
2.
bam!
Hooray!
Happy New Year!
Hooray!
That is kind of neat to watch. I think I've caught that like once.
I will tell you, it
That's so
showed up on my
satisfying.
phone before it did on the screen here.
Mine too. Yeah.
Same.
Hey, Tart has been funded. I'm like, we're still watching it count down.
It's my Wi-Fi at my house is terrible. So, all right. Good night, guys.
All right, later.
Good talk.
It's great.
No,
So how you feeling, Kevin? You just funded. You feel pretty good?
I feel really good. I can tell David and Charlie that means we did amazing, but we just missed the stretch goal to add an 8-page epilogue to the Kickstarter edition. So that will be exclusive to either the Scout floppy or the Scout trade paperback. So that's going to go out digitally to the backers, but you'll have something print-wise exclusive to Scout, which is
Awesome.
I was happy either way. Either we made enough to afford to put it in, or we didn't, and we have something exclusive to the Scout thing. So
Yeah. We let you go pretty liberal with the page counts there.
I think that it's just, like I learned it from you, Charlie. I learned it from watching you.
Oh, we got Forever Maps in the house as well. Michael Legacy.
Yeah, I think my computer is slow because it says new comment and nothing's coming up. So I'll try to get you in there, buddy. All right, enough about me. I'm done.
And now you sleep.
I think I'm going to. Thanks for coming in, Michael. Good to see you. I don't know, man, guys. That blew me away. So that somebody else is going to have to run the show for 5 minutes because I'm.
All right, I got a question for you, Kevin.
Okay.
Like, as someone who is looking to do 50 issues or whatever, like, what advice would you have for someone like me who's just gonna keep going until the end of time in order, in terms of just I guess retaining an audience, because you got 300 of your past backers? It's crazy town.
I don't know what art. I mean, I can say that Ludo's artwork I would follow backwards. I think it's delivering your books is the most important thing. We do not even start setting up the Kickstarter page until Ludo's finished all of the interior art. So it's all colored. That's all finished. We can do the Kickstarter page when DC Hopkins is lettering, but it's all about, I think, delivering the books quickly and safely, and making sure that people know that you care about that part. If you want to do this long term, is my biggest advice.
Well,
Cool.
Kevin, you engage your audience a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So you keep them, you stay in front of them. I think that helps you with a lot of this.
I definitely try, and I think that I met him through Will because of the Comics Lunch course. So I'm guessing you're doing the newsletter.
Yep, definitely.
Stuff that definitely helps. Just even if it's once a month or twice a month or every week, whatever your schedule you've created is, trying to stay. But that you've done the webcomics, so about
Yep.
Consistency. Consistency being the key. Just telling a story that you're passionate about, and you'll find the people that are passionate about the same things.
All right, cool.
I can't help you find your Ludo because you are your Ludo. But I do recommend any other writer.
You are your Ludo. That needs to be a T-shirt or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say I need it as an inspirational banner, right above my computer.
I do think we might have found one bit of advice for you. I see in the comments.
Oh, you know what? Just for that, Mose, I'm sending you another tape recorder of maniacal laughter.
Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh. That's
So,
awesome.
Kevin, I've got a question for you because, you're kind of one of my heroes as far as, you've done 13 issues of Tart. You've done it via Kickstarter. It's amazing, right? And I'm trying to schedule out and figure out because, I want to serialize Crossover Division. We just finished the second issue, but I'm looking ahead to, eventually hitting 12 or 13 or 14 or ultimately, 20, which is kind of what the series is planned for.
Mm-hmm.
How often should you have a book in front of Kickstarter, during a year?
My goal would be 4 a year. I don't think we've ever done more than 2 to 3. So I don't think it's as much about having to get the book on Kickstarter. I think the Kickstarter audience is very forgiving of breaks. I'm very forgiving. We had between 5 and 6, I think it was 2 years. Ludo had to take another job. We jumped into this knowing nothing about comics. We were gonna just create an outline for our 40 issue series, which don't worry, David, it's only like 25. So I saw him get a little sick to his stomach when I said that.
Which is exactly why you said it.
Yeah. But we were like, yeah, we're gonna do that outline. We'll do the first 3. We'll get a publisher. They'll put it in comic shops. We'll make enough money. It's fine. And that's why we left off the cliff, and we've been falling ever since, trying to do our best to kind of glide to a safe landing place. But I think that it's more about delivering the book that the audience is passionate about when it's ready, as opposed to the Wednesday Warriors that if you're not there every month, they're going to forget about you. The Kickstarter community doesn't forget about you in that way. So I think it's, stick with what you're already doing. You've got a compelling book, you've got a great hook, and you've got a cool ass artist.
He's awesome.
And I know you deliver because I've gotten them in the mail, so I know that's it. And so I would just say deliver your books and be excited is what I say. And David said, engage with the audience in the way that's comfortable to you. I can only be Kevin, M can only be David. We can only be who we are, because if I tried to be, Jonathan, I would fail.
I'm failing as Jonathan. So yeah.
See, that's kind of why I said it, because it's obvious to all of us that you are, and this is actually an intervention.
Oh, yeah, okay, here we go.
That's my advice is know nothing, jump and try to create your parachute while you're falling, because that's kind of what Ludo and I have done, and so far it's worked out really nicely for us.
And it's awesome because you guys you're living the dream. I mean, it's amazing how much work a single issue of a comic is. It's so labor intensive, it's so time intensive to get a single issue, done, pencils, inks, the colors, the letters, getting it printed, the whole work. And then, and that's not even Kickstarter or fulfillment on top of it. It's got to be a labor of love, or else, why would we do this to ourselves? Right?
Well, that makes me ask David, how do you balance doing all that and publishing a comic line? How do you juggle all of this?
Well, on top of that, I actually have 2 full-time other jobs.
So you don't sleep. Okay, I get it now.
Pretty much. Andrea asked me the other day, he's like, how do you do all this? And I was like, well, honestly, if I ever stop, I will just collapse and nothing will ever get done. So it's honest. If I have something to do, I just do it. That's basically it. And whatever is the next deadline is what I'm focused on. But I also have I won't say it's actually ADD, but I can't do one thing at a time. So okay. I have to be doing 3 or 4 things at a time. I have 2 TVs in my living room because I can't watch one thing at a time.
That's amazing.
Yeah, usually I'll have like a baseball game on one, and then like actual fiction or something, or a TV show on the other channel, and then I'll be on my computer too and answering texts at the same time. So that's the only way I can get it done now. To what Will was saying about finishing a single issue is like, because of the publishing thing in this last year just being like a total blur. I mean, we put out 6 issues.
Yeah, it's been great, hasn't it?
It's like, it's weird. The pandemic has been crazy, but it's also been the most successful time of my entire life. So it's like,
so you're the guy. I heard that the 7 billion people around the world were going to have a shitty year, and one guy was going to do great. So I'm really happy it's you.
Well, I mean, you've seen the success of Scout over just the last year, and it's because we leaned into what was happening. We tried to make things as easy for everyone in the comics world as possible. You know, if retailers couldn't get their books from Diamond, they could get them from us. You know, we're on Lunar. I mean, if a comic shop is in your neighborhood and they don't have Scout books, it's their fault, not ours, because we have made it as easy as possible to get our books.
Yeah.
So, but what I was saying is, like the single issue thing, like, to me, it was like with Jessamy, it's a big deal. Like, it's a lot's going into it. The 6 issues at stake, I already had them outlined or mostly written. I basically turning them over to Francesca, and it took that part out where, you know, we sit there and we overanalyze everything.
Right.
Where we're like, I didn't have time to think, oh, this is garbage, I need to go back and change half of it, because I had to get her pages, she had to get them drawn, and we had to get them out. So
and that gives probably a bit of a punk rock energy to it, that it's like, you know, get 3 chords out and get it to the audience. That probably works a little bit more than just polishing it to a point where it's so smooth you notice it.
Right. Yeah, I'll do like my process is, it's synopsis. I do a treatment of a whole arc. Then I do, I'll take the issues and break them up into spreadsheets that are numbered pages, so I know what's going to happen on each page. And then I go to script.
Okay.
So kind of by the time I'm doing the actual script, it's like the 3rd or 4th draft already. I'll bang it out. Then I'll go back twice over the dialogue. I'll send it to Francesca. She'll lay it out. Before I send it to Joel again for letters, I'll go through the dialogue again. But once I've gone through that, I might have 2 or 3 editorial changes on the dialogue. Otherwise, it's just me going through and checking the grammar. So it's a process. And when you're up against deadlines, you don't think about it as much. You just say, okay, it's good enough at this point. But you make sure, you know, it's with anything, you're making sure you hit the beats that you want to hit. So that's the important part, and make sure your characters are genuine. That's my biggest thing, is always making sure the voice is right for the characters.
I had a cool question in the comments. I'm going to put it up and see if anybody has an answer. So I've never run a digital only campaign. I'm actually a little bit interested in it as a concept, but I definitely know Ryan K. Lindsay did one that was digital only, and he really leaned into doing a lot of audio things with it. And I couldn't tell you exactly what it was, because I haven't looked at it in 2 or 3 years since he put it out. They do exist, but they are rare.
Yeah, I think
someone else just did.
Brant
did,
one for Celestial Falcon #2.
That's right.
That was early this year? I think it was early this year, wasn't it? Maybe.
Yes,
it was definitely during the pandemic.
Yeah. He did, and I think they did well. And that's a great way to. It's a great way to. I mean, digital. 90% of what you raise stays with you. You know, beside, you know, like maybe you have to pay for formatting, and of course you're paying for the art, but of your sales, every dollar that comes in digital.
Oh, the cool thing about
stays.
Mariah is that she draws and writes her own stuff also. So she's an absolute powerhouse. So she doesn't have to worry about that.
Oh, nice. That's cool. There was a little bit extra to that, I think. Oh, yes. How do you draw with Butterfingers?
Very well,
delicious
apparently.
Yeah.
My only thing that I would personally say, the more art that is finished when you start a Kickstarter campaign, the more likely you are to fund. So definitely you want enough art that you can put on the campaign page to prove that you're going to deliver it. That's kind of why I said we don't start a campaign until Ludo's finished every bit of the interior art, because then it's all on me if we're late. And I'm very pessimistic when I set my timetable. So if I think I'm going to get the books in September, I was like, well, we're going to deliver this in December, and then I add a month. So, like I just, and then we're always early, somehow we're always early when I add 3 months to the back end. But you could, but I don't think Kickstarter is a great place to fund money for art. What do you guys think?
I agree. I mean, it's the more skin you have in the game, the backers are going to see that. That's
well,
and
Mariah, I will heckle you on this broadcast when you run your Kickstarter. You can come on. This is your open invitation, and I will heckle you in not person, but I will happily heckle you in the Zoom. So
This is in person now. This is life that we live. This is in person, just so you know.
yeah.
Oh man, I look forward to heckling Mariah when she goes live.
3 of us are in Florida and 1 are in Arkansas. We're all ducking our heads down even worse than before.
Yeah. MegaCon's going to be interesting.
We've got the Northwest Arkansas con tomorrow and Sunday. So Clay and I and Mick will be there. It will be interesting. It certainly will be.
I woke up with the sniffles 2 days ago. And I was like, I got a con not this Saturday, but next Saturday. And I was like, there's no way that this is it, but I went and got tested today. So I'll find out in 3 days. I'll have a guarantee that I'm negative so that I can, with a good conscience, go and try to sell comics. Because I'm like, I can't be, what's the monkey, patient zero? I can't be patient zero. I can't have tried so hard for a year and a half and then go, well, it's just a runny nose. I'll be fine. And then spread it, the Kevin variant.
Oh, you get your own variant, though.
Look forward to it, Mariah. Anything else specific? I'm happy to keep going while everybody has
I see
stuff
one
they want to do.
I see one in the comments here. A question.
Oh, is this? Ooh, I want to hear what you guys think.
Oh man.
I can't think of just one.
Oh.
There was just a ton of mistakes I made on my first one. It was not doing my own research. It was trying to do it with minimal graphics and not networking. Between my first Kickstarter and my second Kickstarter, networking it within the indie comic book community was huge. So I would probably say that one, if you're going to try to do this, to anyone who hasn't done this before, interact with the people in that community for whatever it is, comics, video games, whatever you're kickstarting, and build an inner circle and support those people as well and learn from them.
That's great advice. I didn't have an answer until you answered. Know that you're going to screw something up every campaign and you're going to learn from it. So don't try to be, try to be as good as you can be, but you don't have to be perfect. Bye, Will. Let's Will. The swirl of death.
Will got sucked into a vortex.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
He's crossing over.
Someone might be coming in. It might be him again. Oh wow, he's still on my screen in one and trying to get back in. So that is so weird. Will, I can put you in twice for some very weird reason.
I was so hoping you'd come back dressed differently. And with a
1 second.
He's got a long beard. He's like, I've been stuck in there for years. It was 3 seconds for you guys, an eternity for me.
300 years. Yeah.
He's holding Ilyana Rasputin's sword.
I'm sorry I got locked out there. I've got one thing that I wish I would have known when I launched, and that's to put it in Finding Nemo speak. Do you have your launch buddy? I mean, that is so important to just have another creator or group of creators that you're launching with, because that made so much difference for Crossover Division #1 versus my first one for Diary of Night was an abysmal failure. I didn't even know what I didn't know.
Right.
And going to comics launch was just great, and then that set up so that I could have some success with the diary collection, and then ultimately with Crossover Division 1 and 2 now. So Launch Buddy's awesome.
What I didn't know, kind of piggybacking on that I am certain of now, and I think it's true of indie comics at all, is I'm not in competition with the other 4 people on the screen. People buying Stake does not take money out of Tart's campaign. It's more likely that we both do well, because I know David is going to deliver his comic, and I know people are going to like that comic. So if I've put Stake in one of my updates and they get that comic and they remember I was the first person that mentioned it, I get this glow of being the person that led them there. And there are very few creators who think that this is a zero-sum game, but it is not. A rising tide raises all boats, especially in Kickstarter, but indie comics, and I think comics at all. We're not in competition with each other at all. We're just I'm trying to convince people to try every indie comic instead of just the 9th X-Men book of the month. Buy the first 8. Do it. I'm not going to say don't read X-Men. Buy 4 Batman. But you know what?
But fuck number 9.
Yeah. Instead of the 9th one, try White Ash. And so that's one thing I didn't know when I started, which is very helpful.
Yeah, I had someone last campaign wanted me to cross promote with them, and everyone who messages me, I do take a look at their campaign, and I couldn't hold back this time. I said, I appreciate that you funded, but here's 9 reasons why I can't cross promote with you.
My God! Listen, David, you said you weren't going to tell anybody about my message to you. Come on, dude.
I didn't mention your name. You're the one who sold yourself out.
All right, you're right.
But no, I actually did ask first if they wanted some advice on how to make their campaign better and make it something I would be more interested in being, associated with. There's Blake.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's something. If I, cross promote or mention a book in my newsletter or in a Kickstarter update, it's a book that I backed.
Yes.
It's something that I've got skin in the game on. I'm going to lay down cash for it.
I won't promote something that I didn't back myself.
I agree wholeheartedly. And there have been a couple that in my past, and I'm much more careful now than I was. A couple didn't deliver.
Not too careful, man. You're not too careful.
I'm getting more careful. Just so everybody knows, I'm on the soapbox of anti-charging shipping later from BackerKit. That's kind of I don't think that it's a strategy that is good for Kickstarter. Personally, I know that some people do it, and I think that they can promote themselves and they can be on their own StreamYard broadcasts. So if I've invited somebody on, I have either checked or probably asked if they are charging shipping during the Kickstarter. Now, I don't care if you bake it in or you charge separately. I've gotten to the point where now I'm relieved when I see an extra $4. When I backed Jonathan today and there was the $7 shipping, I was like, yes, I can invite him on. That's great.
But if it was $9 shipping, no way.
I might do it. No, I mean, I'm not going to say I would or wouldn't. But at least I have the information at this point to decide. Probably 4 issues. I'm going to do the math. I know what shipping costs. I think $7 is very fair.
I learn more and more about the shipping process at each Kickstarter. The fulfillment alone is its own monster. And I feel like I'm getting better and better, and I'm trying to roll that knowledge into the backers as well. You know, if I can cut the cost of my shipping, I'm going to cut the cost of what I'm going to be asking for in reward tiers.
No, I agree with that. Yeah. And sometimes I charge a lot for international shipping because I've seen campaigns die by not, and I've had people say, hey, I would have backed it, but this is too much. And all I've said is, yeah, I totally respect that.
Yeah, it's too volatile.
Yeah,
but I will say this. Oh, you go first, David.
I was gonna say, I tell them to go ahead and get with like 4 or 5 friends who live in the same country and just all order together.
Nice.
So that the shipping is only once.
I have refunded someone a portion of their shipping that was in international. There was like an $8 or $9 difference. I was like, you know what? That's way too much. I can refund them that amount.
I've had 2 campaigns where something happened and I thought it was going to be like $16 and it was $8. And I did I contacted everybody and I said, hey, I screwed this up. Yeah. You got $8 coming to you. Do you want it? Just tell me where to send it and I'll send it. Half of the people went, that's great. PayPal it here. And I sent it. And half the people said, your next show, just have a beer on me. You know, but I definitely put it in their hands that I screwed up. You overpaid.
Yeah.
I want to make my money on the comic book. I'm not making it on shipping personally. Now, if I ever find somebody that will ship for me, I will pay that person to do it, and then you know that'll be different. But you know, like I stand right over there and I get 25 of them packed up a night, and then I can have my glass of wine.
You know, you're right.
Has anybody tried? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, has anybody tried doing like a signed autograph upgrade for international backers? Like, has that worked? Has anyone tried that? Like, I tried that this time around, and I didn't get any international backers yet. But I was just like, you know what? To offset the cost, like, here's my autograph for whatever tier you back at.
We're all writers. We're excited when people ask for our autograph.
Excited is probably not enough of a description of ecstatic, euphoric. I don't know.
My buddy Chris and I did a comic book called Underwars. It's kind of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle meets the Tick, and we've never Kickstarted it. So like everybody who's ever bought it has literally our hands to theirs. So we've signed like every book that's ever gone out. And we looked at each other one day and we're like, you know, the unsigned books have got to be worth more than the autographed ones at this point because they're the rare ones.
Right.
So, but I think that's a really good idea. You signing the international ones just to give something. It's like, I know you had to pay a lot. Here's this. Yeah. But I always say now, like, hey, I wouldn't pay the shipping either, but go to your local comic shop and, we're published through Scout and ask them to order it. I don't know what it'll be, but I think you can get it. So, I have that little thing in my pocket that I can give, which is, a lucky thing that I have, but I'd rather you don't back the Kickstarter if the shipping is an issue for you, because I get it, you know.
I've kind of just consigned myself to maybe losing a little bit on the international shipping, and hope that I cover it with the shipping, on the other stuff. Because even at $25, I feel like that's a lot of money for international shipping, but it's actually not cover. It doesn't cover most places that I've shipped to. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel good because the exchange rate from anywhere in Europe is actually cuts it down a bit. So, $25 to England is like 18 pounds to 15 pounds. So I do kind of in my mind, I'm like, well, all right, €1, if I'm sending it to Germany, but to a country where the exchange rate is the opposite, I do feel terrible. But what can you do?
I think it was $40 to send something to Japan last time. And I was like, wow.
Australia is horrible. Australia, it's so bad.
We have many amazing international backers. It is only my loyalty to them that we ship internationally anymore, because they've been with us from the beginning, and I can't not go through the headache for them, because they've done it like $48 to Australia, and they back every campaign, and I'm like,
yeah.
All right, this is a headache, but I'm going to do it for you. And one of those people actually is going to be drawn into Tart 14. So I was like, I think I made the right choice to make sure that we still allowed international shipping for. He goes by the name of Revik on Kickstarter, so I think I can say that. So Revik, you're going to be in Tart 14, and we might just sneak your wife in if that's okay. We might give you a freebie on getting your wife in there. I don't think he watches this, but although he'd be up.
Yeah, it's true.
Let's see. Did I miss any other questions? I don't want to. Why don't we do another round of and I can say this now, live Kickstarters. I'm going to go. I see David, you're on my top. So David, why don't you talk about Jessamy one more time, and I will put up the URL for everybody.
I'm just waiting for the URL.
Yeah, it might take a while. Start talking.
And actually, recommendation for everybody else is, if you have a website, just redirect it during your campaign, because as you can see, that URL is kind of ugly. If you go to stakecomic.com during the campaign, it will take you straight to the Kickstarter. And basically whatever I'm promoting at the time, I just keep switching that URL, because I have my own personal website. So I just always make that to, like, while it's coming out through Scout, it'll just redirect you to the collection on Scout's page. So if anybody finds it on my advertising anytime, it will take them somewhere where they can buy something stake related.
There is a danger, though. I did accidentally type that as stalecomic.com. I did catch it, thankfully, before I put that up.
Yeah, try typing the other one, though.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So we're live with Stake Presents Jessamy numbers 1 and 2. We're already funded. We're working on our second stretch goal. And I mean, I'm in love with all of the covers, and if you go look at them, you will be too.
Yeah.
And my next promotion is going to be, I haven't figured out for sure how I'm going to give them away, but we've got Pearl finished trading cards.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
So, and
go to your local comic shop and ask for steak. Like it's a cool concept. You guys delve into like social media commentary as well as vampirism, which I thought was really, really cool when I read it.
Yes, and there will be a Stake Presents Jessamy preview and Free Comic Book Day.
Nice. When is that this year?
Next Saturday, the 14th.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
So we'll have them at MegaCon too for people who come by the Scout booth.
Nice. Jonathan, let's talk about Capable.
Yeah, so today or yesterday, actually, now I launched Capable 4. It's my superhero series that takes place in a world where people with disabilities gain powers that are opposite of their handicap. The previous issues are available in the campaign. We have a few cool covers, and yeah, I hope you can check it out. Easy peasy,
Nice.
lemon squeezy.
Short and sweet. M, take us home.
All right. Well, I've got Sacrimony, A Tale of Love, Life, and Death in no particular order, issues 1 and 2, and it's the tale of a teenage girl who died. That's it. She died. That's it.
It's very short. It's like 3 pages long.
It's the best 3 pages you'll ever read. I promise. Well, she died. She came back to life, but the catch, because there's always a catch with mysterious resurrection stories, is that she now has demon wings and magical powers that she has to hide from society. She has no idea why she has to hide them, and her mom won't really tell her. So there's a lot going on there.
And
None
she
of it
seems
bodes well.
tickled pink about it. She seems like delighted about learning these new things. I've only read issue 1, so
yeah, she's very curious about the world and like how she relates to it. So there'll be a lot of like observational things, and I mean, yeah, I'd be tickled too if I could make fire, just by thinking about it. But yeah, for now she's kind of like oblivious to what's going on, but then issue 2 goes more into like the effects, like just basically how the world might treat her when she actually arrives to a place that's more populated and not like, Arctic oblivion. So
no,
yeah.
I can't wait to see the cities. That's really cool.
Yay.
What did you do any research in architecture, or is it just imagination?
A little from column A, a little from column B, because there are like 2 things I absolutely love about drawing comics. Is 1 is fashion design or character design, and 2 is like architecture. So I look at stuff beforehand, but I try not to like emulate it too much, because then
Right.
it's like it starts looking like a photocopy of the thing that I'm looking at. So it's a weird process. Like I'll look at stuff and I'll sit around and think about it, sketch out some things, and just figure out what works from there.
That's awesome. To have an artist's mind, that's so cool. Oh, so we got.
Oh.
I can agree with that. I've got a 12-year-old daughter asleep in about 40 feet away, and I think she'd like both.
Agreed. I would have liked that as a little girl. They say write what you know, so.
All right.
Oh, also, I have a shorter URL also, which was just sacrimony.com/Kickstarter.
See, guys.
So two of you are on your game.
We know what's up. Air high five.
Yeah, and based on what Blake
There we
just said, I'm going to get steak with eakcomic.com as well.
Delicious.
Yeah, I saw that, but I saw it a little late. I didn't want to throw it over as she was talking about the other one. All right, I really appreciate you guys coming and talking comics. I mean, it's a blast for me, and I really appreciate people who watched and brought questions, because I think it's best when people are asking us what they want to hear. And I think it's really a blast to do, but good luck closing out. I'm excited to see where you guys go. And I appreciate everybody who came out on a Friday night. So thank you so much. And I'm emailing some people for next Friday night, 11 o'clock. If you guys are still running and you want to come in, you have an open invitation. We'll, if you come back. We don't do the deep dive on the Kickstarter, but you definitely do the elevator pitch and get to talk about it, because I want to make sure anybody new gets a chance to really talk about their campaign. But sure. If you're up, I know you're going to be asleep next Friday night, and I understand. But if you want, although you MegaCon guys, you might be a little busy.
I'm going to I'll pull Haken and pour a Dr. Pepper over his head.
Hey, congrats, Kevin. Tart 13,
Thank you,
man.
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
congratulations.
Awesome.
I'm going to sleep very late tomorrow, and when I wake up, continue writing thank you notes to those people who were there the first day, because Without them, I would be not doing comics. So
Very cool.
So if you back a Kickstarter, literally you help us continue. So thank you. All right. Good night, everybody.
Night,
right,
night.
have a good one,
It was
everyone.
fun.
Right.
Thanks for having me on.
It was great
Thank
talking
you.
to you all.
You too.